Page number 1, Unit 1. Socialization, agents, role of socialization, self and socialization. Unit structure 1.0 Objectives 1.1 Introduction 1.2 Agents of socialization 1.3 Role of socialization 1.4 Self and socialization 1.5 Significance of socialization 1.6 Summary 1.7 Questions 1.8 References 1.0 Objectives to acquaint the students the meaning of socialization and its role, to familiarize the students with the agents of socialization, to understand the concept of self and socialization. 1.1 Introduction. What makes us what we are? It is our genetics that we are born with or the environment in which we grew up. In fact, scholars have traditionally debated over the relative importance of biological inheritance and role of environment in human development. There has always been two camps: nature versus nurture, that is, heredity versus environment. Today, scholars recognize the interaction of both these factors in shaping human personality. Case of feral children. Feral children are wild children who grow up without any socialization. One of the earliest cases of feral child was reported by Kingsley Davis 1940. Davis discussed two feral cases of Isabel and Anna. When Anna was discovered in an attic, she was 5 years of age. She could barely learn few basic life skills before she died at the age of 10. In case of Isabel, though she was isolated like Anna, but had her deaf and dumb mother for her company. When she was found at 6 years of age, she picked up basic human social skills and was able to eventually attend school. According to Davis, the difference in outcome in both these cases is due to nutrition and the fact that Isabel had some social interactions with her deaf and dumb mother. Thus, primary socialization is essential for development of children. There is complete lack of sense of self-concept, pattern of multiple attachments, and significant others, awareness about self and others group and society. In case of feral children, there are films that have portrayed the complexity of being a feral human child, particularly when a feral child attempts to socialize with other members of society. For example, The Jungle Book is believed to be inspired by real-life accounts of feral child raised by animals. Case of twins. Identical twins Oscar and Jack is a classic case of influence of heredity. Oscar and Jack were separated soon after their birth. They were raised in different cultural settings. Oscar was brought up by his maternal grandmother under the influence of the Hitler Youth movement in Nazi Germany, where he learned to hate Jews. His twin brother Jack was raised by their Jewish father in Trinidad. The Jack became member of an Israeli kibbutz and later also joined Israeli army. When the twins were reunited decades later, they had some startling similarities. Both wore rimmed glass and mustaches. They both had liking for spicy food and sweet liquor, were absent-minded, spotted pocket shirts and with epaulets, and a habit of falling asleep while watching television, dipped butter toast in their coffee, read magazines from back to front, and so on. They also differed in many aspects, like Jack was a workaholic while Oscar enjoyed the leisure time activities. Oscar was traditionalist who was domineering towards women, while Jack was liberal and more Accepting of feminism, Jack was very proud of his Jewish lineage, while Oscar never mentioned it at all. Primary results from this twin study reveals that both genetic factors and socializing experience play significant role in woman development. Check your progress, write your note of nature and an was nurture. Socialization. Socialization is a process of learning which is lifelong. It begins at birth and ends at death of an individual. It involves different forces that change individuals' life forces and self-image. It is through the process of socialization people learn about social roles. Social roles are social expectations that an individual in a particular position follows. The process of socialization is culture specific, but it doesn't mean that one culture is superior to another. It is a process through which people acquire essential skills and education to play their part in the social system. Schaeffer defines it as a process through which people learn the values, attitudes, and appropriate actions as a member of a particular culture. For McLeod, it is a process whereby social beings establish broad and profound relationship with each other. They become more bound up with the perspective of the personality of others than themselves establish the complex structure of a broad and close association. Young explains socialization as a process of inducting individual into the social cultural world, making of him or her member of a particular society and its different groups, and also make him or her accept the norms and values of that society. Characteristics of socialization. It is a lifelong process which begins in cradle and ends in grave. It never stops. People keep learning throughout their life, though their capacity to observe may slow down as they grow older. It is a process whereby a bundle of flesh and blood is changed into a social being. Societal norms, values, and expectations are transmitted from one generation to another, though through the process of socialization. The process of socialization differs from the society to society. Stages of socialization. At each stage of life, people need to learn to make changes so as to deal with challenges and prospects in life. It is the process of socialization that helps people to undergo through the transitory phase of their life and be adaptive to the changing environment. This process of learning passes through the following stages: 1. Infancy and childhood 0 to 14 years. The first characteristics that the child identifies about self is gender and age. By the time the child is 2 years of age, almost all of them identify themselves as a girl or a boy. They are also start to identify themselves with concentrate and observable features such as I am elder brother, I have younger sister, and they express themselves like I like to play cricket. Thus, they begin to see themselves through observable and verifiable features. Once the child reaches childhood, describe self clearly, so instead and specifying the activity, start describing broadly. For example, I like sports instead cricket. At this age, they start defining them and others in terms of traits and abilities. For example, friendly, loving. At this age, children compare to themselves with others and on the basis of these comparisons, draw inferences to adolescents 15 to 20 years. At this stage, the children define themselves in terms of abstract qualities which trace their perceived psychological characteristics and emotions. They adopt for a refined and analytical approach to define self. This stage is also characterized by conflict because on one hand, the children try to go away from parental control, and on other they find that they cannot escape dependence on their parents. However, the parents today give their adolescent children freedom to choose their educational career, life partners, and so on. They want them to be accept new roles and responsibilities due to which the adolescents find themselves pressed through adulthood 21 to 60 years. Adulthood is the stage where the child becomes independent and is ready to start their own family. It is most crucial part of an individual's life because most of the important decision of life is taken at this stage, such as profession, marriage, etc. The individual has to take many new and challenging roles, for example, employee, spouse, and parents, and learn to adapt how to do these new roles and positions. Adulthood can be divided into two stages, the young adulthood and the mature adulthood. This period is characterized by excitement and sexual development. This is also a period where an individual starts to explore political and religious affiliation besides sexual, while the mature adulthood stands for self-evaluation. People may feel that years are passing and that they have not achieved much. It is a transitory period of individual's life and therefore require deep internalization of norms, values, and attitudes that may be different from what they have learned. For old age 60 and above, it is the last stage of transition that may begin after 60. However, there is no universally accepted definition of old age. It differs from society to society. At this stage, people start their retirement plan. People find it difficult to readily accept change. Those who are able to manage well they remain social and active in old age also. This is the most difficult period of people's life, especially when they are economically dependent on their children. In traditional agricultural societies, old people were respected and they had a great role to play in the family level and the community level. But in fast changing world, their knowledge becomes outdated. Sometimes they are left to live alone and fetch for themselves. Socialization is a lifelong process. Socialization is not one time affair. It is a lifelong process. People are socialized continuously throughout their life through various agents of socialization, family being the first agent and mother the first teacher. As people grow, they come across various challenges and transition in their life. People taking new roles and shape the world through the process of resocialization. For example, taking up job. Check your progress. 1. What is socialization? 2. Explain the stages of socialization. Agents of 1.2 Agents of socialization. Socialization helps individual to understand their social roles better and successfully function in society. How the process of socialization takes place, how individuals learn about their material and non-material aspects of their culture. It takes place through the social interaction with various primary agencies of socialization, such as family, peer group, and school, etc. Social agents are those people or groups that influence individual concept of self-behavior, attitudes, and orientation towards life. Family. Family is the one of the vital socializing agent. Parents, siblings, grandparents, and extended family members play a significant role in the life of a child. They teach child how to perform various tasks such as sitting, toilet, training, washing, basic communication skills, values, and relationship with others like friends, family. For most of the individual socialization begins in the family. It is through the family the child learns about its culture and identify itself with the community he or she belongs to. Child also get his or her social status through his family. The family assists in the social, emotional, and physical development of child. If a child lacks a family in his or her formative years of life, then socialization for such child becomes difficult. Example: feral children, as the child grows, other agents of socialization, such as peer groups, school, and mass media, become the influential agents of socialization. School, like family, school is also one of the primary agents of socialization. The school is a miniature society. It has taken over some of the earlier functions of family. The child spends major part of growing up years in school. In school, through various curricular or extracurricular activities, the child learns social skills, roles, and values, which is necessary for overall development of child. The school provides both formal and informal education, which helps the child to develop his intellectual capacity, acquire social skills, and become financially independent and responsible citizen. Peer group. A peer group refers to a social group having members with common social positions, age, and interests. In peer group, there is a free flow of ideas and emotions. A child may learn good habits or bad habits. A child may experience peer pressure to alter his or her behavior, values, attitudes, and habits to conform to the peer group norms. It is here the child escapes supervision of parents and teachers and learn to develop relation on his own. In peer group, the child learns to get along with others, learns moral values and norms, learns the appropriate social and cultural roles and gender roles, and become independent. Workplace is another important agent of socialization. As an adult, an individual spends significant part of their life at workplace. At workplace, an individual come in contact with people from different social, cultural, religious, ethnic, and economic background. The individual learn to respect diversity and become tolerant. Successful workplace socialization enables the new entrant to adapt easily and fit in the organization culture. The positively influence work motivation, job satisfaction, and improves work efficiency and thus increase productivity. At workplace, the individual acquires necessary social skills, knowledge, and take over organizational roles through the workplace. Socialization is the individual learns to adopt workplace behavior, develop necessary skills and ability to adapt to the norms and values of the workplace group. Check your progress on discuss the school and peer group as an agents of socialization. Explain the role of family and workplace as agents of socialization. 1.3 Role of socialization. The role of socialization is to prepare individuals for social life by acquiring shared norms, values, belief system, and behavior of their society. It plays a significant role in maintenance of society and well-being of the individual. Arnett 1995 represent three fundamental goals of socialization: to teach individuals to control impulses and develop a conscience. Socialization teaches individuals to control their impulses and develop conscience. The individual achieve this by learning to understand what is expected of them by people around them. Thus, they learn to internalize the expectations of others and rationalize their impulses and develop a conscience to prepare for social roles. Socialization prepares the individual for social roles, for example, gender roles, marriage, parenthood, to cultivate the shared sources of meaning. and values. Socialization promotes shared sources of meanings and values. It is culture specific because individuals learn to identify what is vital and valued within their culture. 1.4 Self and socialization. All human beings are born with genetic makeup and biological traits. However, they grow to develop through social interactions. In the opinion of various scholars, the process of self-development acts as a precursor or to understand how self becomes socialized. The self is a distinct identity that sets individual apart from others. It is not static, it continues to develop and change throughout the life. One of the earliest sociological approaches to understand the self was Cooley's looking glass self. In the words of Gas and Schwabel 1983, looking glass self is the understanding that our concepts are formed for as reflections of the responses and evaluations of their others in our environment. Cooley expanded the belief that we learn about ourselves by interacting with others. Our perception about ourselves, therefore, comes not only from direct contemplation of our personal qualities, but also from our impression about how others view us. Cooley applied the term looking glass self to express that the self is the product of our social interaction. The process of developing the self identity goes through three phases. We imagine how we present ourselves in front of others, such as friends and relatives. We imagine how others examine us. For example, while buying jeans, we imagine how our friends will look at it. We develop some kind of impression about ourselves, that is self-concept. A favorable image in the social mirror leads to development of positive self-concept, and a negative image leads to development of negative self-concept. This development process is continuous and lifelong. Even if we misinterpret others' view, the misinterpretation become part of self-concept. The elusive yet crucial aspect of Cooley's looking glass self is that the self develops from an individual imagination of how others view him or her. As a result, an individual can develop self-identities based on incorrect perception of how others view him or her. G. H. Schmidt agreed with Cooley's concept of looking glass self, but added to that play is crucial for the development of self. In his theory of stages of self, he came up with a useful model of the process through which the self develops, passing through three successive stages. Preparatory stage. During this stage, children mimic the people around them with whom they interact continuously. For example, parents or siblings. The self is a social product which develops from the relation with others. As they grow older, they will more aptly use symbols to communicate with others by interacting with friends and relatives. Also, nowadays, watching various programs or television, the children will continue to use this form of communication throughout their life. Play stage. In this stage, the children develop skills to communicate using symbols and gradually become aware of social relationships. They start pretending to be other people, sometimes to be mother, teacher, policeman, Iron Man, Shaktiman, Chota Bheem, etc. One of the important aspects of this stage, according to me, is role taking. It is a process whereby a child mentally assumes the perspective of another and responds to that imagined point of view. For example, playing house of our teacher game stage. Here the child matures and learns to respond to generalized others. In other words, in this stage, children not only learn to perceive their own social position but also of significant others around them. By generalized others mean the attitude, the point of view and expectation of society as a whole that a child taken into consideration in his or her behavior, while significant others refers to those with whom the child is closely related and or continuously interact, such as parents, siblings, friends, and teachers. Thus, the child gets socially identity. Mead's theory of self made significant contribution in understanding of social self. The two facets of self, according to him, is I and me. The I is the creative and spontaneous aspect of the self, and on the other hand, the me is the passive aspect of self that develops from the internalized expectation of the society. However, despite the difference, these two facets of self complement each other. The development of both these aspects of self is essential not only for individual but also for the society, because society needs not only creativity but also some sort of conformity. Irving Goffman, in the presentation of self is in everyday life, views social relationship dramatically, that is from the perspective of theoretical performance Ecklin 1958. According to Goffman, in everyday life there is a script, rules, action, costumes, and audience. People behave like an actors on stage playing a of roles. The audience or other individuals who watch the actors performing roles and respond to their performance. Similar to theatrical performance, in social interactions, there is a region where the individual performs, the front stage and backstage. Here, front stage behavior is where the individual performs in front of their audience to create positive impression. That is impression management. It is scrutinized the behavior based on learned social script that is influenced by cultural norms. For example, a hostess in backstage performance, the individual is relaxed and is aim or himself or herself because there is no one to observe him or her. The individual is relieved of the roles, feels comfortable, and is his or her true self. Example, when at home. Check your program. Describe the role of socialization. To write your note on self and socialization. 1.5 Significance of socialization. The process of socialization is crucial for both the individual and the society, because the individual and its social world are interconnected and it cannot be separated. The society perpetuates itself by teaching the values, beliefs, and culture to its new members. If the new trend does not internalize then it is difficult for him or her to exit. Similarly, it is essential that the culture, values, and belief systems are transmitted from one generation to another. For the survival of the society, social interaction gives meaning to the life of individuals as they begin to see themselves through the lens of the others and come to know who they are and learn to fit into the world around them. They learn about the basic materials and non-material culture, everything from how to walk, talk, dress appropriately, how to eat, what to eat and when to eat, learn language, etc. Thus, without socialization, individuals may not have sense of self and would not be able to function as social beings. Therefore, socialization is essential for sound development of individual and society. 1.6 Summary. There is continuous debate over what determines human behavior. Nature, nurture, numerous study of feral children brings to light uh, that through though heredity plays an important role, but society too plays significant part to make people human. People acquire identities to of self who they are and what makes them through socialization, learning language, and from various forms of human contact. The theoretical insights of Cooley, Mead, and Goffman demonstrate how people acquire morality, reasoning skills, and develop their personality and sense of self through the process of social interaction and observation. People learn to think, act, and behave through various agents of socialization. It helps in the development of self-concept, attitudes, societal norms, behavior, and oriented towards life. The major agents of socialization are family, school, mass media, and workplace. These agents and socialization reinforce social and cultural norms and values. Despite strong and profound impact of socialization on people, people have and the self is dynamic. People make their own choices based on reasoning and logic. People are not passive receivers but actively participate in social construction of their self. People change themselves by interacting with various agents and ideas. 1.7 questions. What is socialization? Discuss with the various agents of socialization to articulate Cooley's theories of development of self. 3. Examine Mead's and Goffman's theory of self. 4. Socialization is a lifelong process. Comment. 1.8 references. 1. Feldman, D.C. 1981. The multiple socialization of organization members, Academy of Management, April Wall 6 to Gatsby and Scribble, 1983. Beyond the looking glass, self, social structure, efficacy based self-esteem, Psycho Q. June, Volume 46 2. Foster S.L. and Richie W.L. 1979. Research in the Assessment of Social Competence in Children Journal and Applied Behavior Analysis Issue. 4. Frederick E. 1958. Marriage and Family Living National Council on Family Relations Number Volume 24. 5. Jeffrey J. Arnett 1995. Broad and Narrow Socialization. The Family in the Context of Cultural Theory. A Journal of Marriage and Family. August Volume 57 by 3.